Hey folks, welcome back to the Field and Garden Podcast. It's your friend, Lisa, and I'm really glad you've decided to pop on here and have a listen. And this is a subject I could probably do 100 podcasts on. Social media reality, right? And there are so many opinions and so much information, or either a lack of information. It all depends on where you are coming from. So if you're overwhelmed, you're a member of the majority. Social media, and there are so many platforms now. I mean, my goodness, can we have another? We have Facebook, and then we got Instagram. And then, of course, there's LinkedIn, which most of us, I don't think, use. That's a different kind of business platform. Then we just recently got Clubhouse, and then there's TikTok. I mean, y'all, there's others, I'm sure. It's just so overwhelming. It is really hard to know what to do. And particularly if you're a member of my generation, I'm 60. So I didn't grow up with, a phone in my hand as, the younger generations are now. So much of this is so foreign, and it's, you think it's a waste of time, and it is all new territory, and we're all just sitting around scrolling and wondering, how in the world do you do it? Why do you do it? Should you do it? Can I do it? How do you do it? There's just so many question marks, y'all. And I totally understand this, because just not long ago, I was where many of you are, looking at a couple of the platforms and scrolling and falling in and wasting time and, doing an occasional post and not seeing any results and wondering why, and why do people do the way that they do. But here, friends, is what I have come to learn through the last few years of business. It's all in the way that we use it. And we just have to learn how to use social media, not let social media use us. And isn't that the truth with everything? I mean, TV could even be said about this, right? I mean, if you flip it over to those shopping shows on the tube, even the person that doesn't shop can fall victim to shopping, because that's what happens when you just sit and partake in it. And so what I have learned, and this is what I'm going to share with you today, is some of the tips that I have learned, and how we manage social media. I manage social media. I don't allow social media to manage me. Now, I'm not saying that I still don't fall into that rabbit hole from time to time. There's definitely, especially you come in from being exhausted working in the garden, and you sit down in the cool for a minute, and you open up your phone and start scrolling, and it's so easy to fall in. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's not, as a business owner, that's not what social media is about. So this is some food for thought. And what I actually did is I put a mini training in my online course, Flower Farming School Online, The Basics, which is called The Basics, Annual Crops, Marketing, and More. And I added last year a session, a mini training. I mean, it's 36 minutes long. I'm not sure what's so mini about that. But anyway, I just kind of reviewed it, the bullets, my talking points. And I thought, you know what? I want to come on here and just offer to you guys that there is a different way. So what I want to talk about is that, first off, you have to know that I get a lot of emails from folks that don't partake in social media at all. They have different reasons, and I totally understand all of their reasons. But many of those reasons are based on using social media as people do as a personal enjoyment. Has nothing to do with using it for business. Because just like how, I'm always saying to folks, take your gardener glasses off and put your farming glasses on the way that we do tasks in the garden. It's two totally different things, right? It's the same thing with social media, y'all. There is I can tell you that I virtually don't use social media for a personal use, for catching up with people and that type of stuff. It is 100% a business perspective that I have, and that is the way that I attack it. So the emails that I get with people that aren't happy about me offering closed Facebook groups for our online courses because they don't use Facebook potentially, I understand their reasons. But again, I don't find that for me because I don't use it in the ways that many of those folks are actually doing. So this is just a snapshot of some of the things that I follow. So I have what I call my little social media system. So one is, why does social media matter to your business? First off, out of the gate, gang, social media is basically free. It is something that you can literally use your sweat equity to gain business. It's like you can sit down, you can wake up tomorrow morning and say, all right, today I'm doing this different. I am going to look at social media as a tool to build my business and reach the people. Because let's face it, folks, have you looked around? Everybody's looking at a phone. I mean, that is the reality. I think it's crazy, but it's the reality. People are constantly, nobody goes into a doctor's office and picks up a magazine anymore. They don't stand in the grocery line reading the magazine covers as they're standing there. Most often they're looking at their phones. So the audience is literally millions and millions and millions of people potentially. And that's what drives me. I know that, we still, for my business, whether it's my flower farming, whether it's our online garden store, whether it's our online courses, we know that we can reach masses of people through social media. I still have my fingers in other areas. We still print a catalog, y'all. That is a huge expense. But we know that not only the people on their phones appreciate a catalog, many of them, there are people that aren't on their phones. That's a slim slice, but they are there. So social media can be an enormous boon to your business when you decide to take control of it instead of, literally letting it control you. The scrolling and reading, it's like people, one of the things that I hear from folks, or one of the messages that we try to share with our online course students that say, but I don't do Facebook, because that's where the closed groups are, which is just an optional added bonus to our courses. You don't have to be on Facebook to take our course, but there's additional benefits. The benefit of being in school and being in your instructor's closed Facebook group is, number one, networking with your classmates. The support and information that is shared on that platform is absolutely phenomenal. And then after school is over, you get put into the alumni group, which is all the previous classes for that instructor, and the sharing and support that goes on and through your instructor also is absolutely phenomenal. But what people share as their reasoning, many of them, for not being on Facebook is, and I totally get it, is all the political and hurtful things that people are saying. And it's like, y'all, I'm on social media every single day, which you'll learn in a few minutes how I do that. And I don't look at any of that stuff. You choose what you see on social media and what you engage in. And so the benefit of saying, oh, so that's really an option. I can be a member of a group and just go into my phone. You don't have to have your image. You can, use your farm name instead of your real name. I mean, there's ways around it, and we're happy to help you do that. We have a student ambassador now on staff that helps you to make the most out of our Facebook groups, and helps you to do that. So then you can also, as you learn to maneuver and work through the groups, you learn how to use social media, which is a huge boon to your business. So where do you start? First off, you have to make that decision that you are going to just use social media for business purposes. I can't tell you what a relief that is, y'all. And so for me, so what I decided is I had to build a little plan. And I literally, and that's what I was getting ready to do this morning. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to go on and record a podcast about this. I sit down typically on Saturday mornings. It's not a work day for us on the farm. And plan out my next 7 days post for social media. Now, here's a reality. I have not done this for about 4 weeks. I have been flying by the seat of my pants, which actually is I can do better now because of my normal practice of what I'm about to tell you. It allows me, I kind of have more of my system and it's on automatic pilot. But basically what happens, and this is what I share in this mini training session that I've included in my online course, is that I sit down for about an hour on the weekend for me, Saturday morning, and plan out not necessarily all of the verbiage that's going to go on my post each day for the next 7 days, but I go through and pick out the images. So here's the thing that, an overview. I have about 7 to 12 different little groups or albums on my phone of images. When I take an image and I think, oh, that'll fit in. I mean, one of my albums is Tucker. Great videos and images of Tucker. And so I pick out over the next 7 days from those 7 to 12 categories that I have of albums. And I've been very specific in what those albums are, and they are the different areas of topics that I post from. And so when I take an image, I slip a copy of that event, of that photo or that video into one of those albums or not. And then when it comes time, like this morning, I go to those albums and say, okay, I need to pick 7 different ones from this 12 different categories. And I go through and pick the images. I might look at my feed and say, oh, you know what? I haven't shown a video of Tucker doing something, cute and precious for a couple, 3 weeks. Maybe I'll pick a video this morning as one of my posts for the upcoming week. Now, sometimes when I see an image, something immediately will jump into my mind, and I'll say, oh, so I will. And so here's the secret that most people don't know, y'all. that you don't have to use any kind of social media app to save and do what I'm talking about. Here's the secret. First off, all flower farmers should definitely be on Instagram. That's where people go to look at pretty pictures, and who should have more prettier images than a flower farmer? And we'll talk about that in a second. But all you have to do is go into Instagram and select that you're going to make a new post, pick your image, and then hit next. And when you get to the very end where it says share on the upper right-hand corner, or there's a little back arrow in the upper left-hand corner, and you can type a few words like that inspiration that may have hit me when I saw that. I may just type that in the verbiage right there like your caption would be. Or I put nothing. I think you might have to put an X to put some kind of text to be able to save it. So instead of hitting share, like you would do, like you're going to post that post right then, hit that little back arrow and a little box is going to come up, y'all, that's going to say, save this as a draft or discard. Hit save as a draft. And y'all, that means that image with whatever you typed is saved. And I go through and do that 7 times for the next week. Then to find those drafts, you just go in like you're going to do a post, and down right below where the images are, there should be a little verbiage that says drafts. You touch that and there they are. Then each morning, I tend to think that my people are most active on social media from 7 to 9 in the morning. So I try to post my post during that time because you want your post to be new during the time that your people are scrolling, right? And so I go in, select my draft, finish doing my caption. I'll look and say, oh yeah, and I'll sit down and write and post it. So y'all, that means that I spend 1 hour finding my images, plotting them out for the week, and then on a Monday morning when I don't want to sit down, and what typically would happen is I would have the endless scrolling. What picture do I post? Yeah, I don't know. But when you've already done that, when you get your inspiration on Saturday morning, pick your images, and then it's all sitting there waiting for you. So that's where you start, gang. And so here is what I really want you to understand. If you want to engage customers, people on social media, and turn them into your customer potentially, why do you post on social media? Because you want people to look and read at what you're saying and doing, right? If somebody comments, y'all, and you don't respond, this is what it's like. That is like walking down the sidewalk and passing someone that you make eye contact, but you don't say hi or raise your hand and wave. You just kind of snub them. The whole point of this is to engage. And if you engage by making a post and then somebody responds and says, beautiful, what gorgeous flowers, where do you plant those? Where do you grow those? Where can I get those? Anything. If they just post a heart, you need to respond in 4 words or more. Instagram or any of the social media platforms, when you engage with your customers or your followers, that makes them happy. With the more of their tools that you use and engage, the happier they are with you. And when the social media platforms are happy with you, they show your post to more people. It's called an algorithm. And folks, I see people writing the craziest things. It's like they treat the algorithm as their enemy, where in fact, you need to see it as your friend and figure out what it wants, y'all. It's the king of the pile. You have to engage it. So engaging people is what the whole point of social media is. And when you do it, it gets you into that swing, right? So this is truly a really important part of this whole talk. Instead of you spending 30 minutes to however many hours you are scrolling through social media, you need to start planning your posts, posting them. I only post typically once a day on regular feeds. And then I post in stories because you want to use these different pieces. So yes, you can do reels. I've done a couple of those. You just have to do as much as you can. A little speck of using the different pieces of social media offering, the better you are. Then to actually engage with your people. And by spending your time each day posting in the morning, then engaging with your customers, your potential customers, encouraging them to engage, and then you to create conversation, that's how you should spend your time on social media. Not comparing yourself, not just scrolling. I'm not saying you shouldn't do a little scrolling and get ideas. Nothing wrong with that, y'all. Why reinvent the wheel? You just make your take of what other people are doing. That's all I do. That's all I do, y'all. That's how you build a community. What do you have to share about? Holy cow, y'all. We're flower farmers. People want to see you starting seeds, growing in your garden. They want to see your weeds, your pests, your beautiful flowers. They want to see your kids, your dogs, your cats, your pigs, your whatever you've got. They want to see it. They want to know that you struggle, that you have successes just like they do. There is endless things to talk about, folks. I'm not kidding you. And then here's the other thing. The other thing you need to spend your time doing is take 30 minutes a day of your business day and learn how to take better pictures. An iPhone, an Android, they're perfect. You do not need a big girl camera, as we used to call them. You need to learn. It's all about light. The golden hour in the morning and the golden hour in the evening. And if you've got to take a picture in the middle of the day, create the best condition to go somewhere where you're in the shade, but it's bright shade. Taking pictures, what's in the background. And, you need vertical pictures and horizontal pictures. And all of these things, you start to learn it. If you'd have told me 4 years ago I'd be talking to you about this, I'd say, are you kidding? I know nothing. Y'all, doing it is what pays off. And in the beginning, if you don't have many followers, you need to reach out to your personal friends and say, I just started a farm page. Please like it and don't call me. Communicate with me on Facebook and talk back and forth. That all helps the algorithm. Ask them to like and share your page. All of this is embracing social media because, folks, I'm here to tell you, it is only getting deeper. I started out just on Facebook, and then I began Instagram. I don't know how long ago that was, but it wasn't nearly as long ago as it was for Facebook for me. And I didn't used to do stories. Now I do. I know that stories on Instagram is where I show the behind the scenes on my farm and what's going on. And the post is where I try to stick to really interesting, beautiful images. And then I started on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is just purely an audio app, and it's where I can do a live podcast-like environment. And that is a new platform, so there's a lot of room for people to get in and create their own niche. I have the Flower Farmer Show over there, which we now record, and now we post it on my podcast. It's just there's so much you can do, y'all. Excuse me. And what you find is there's different followings on different platforms. There is some overlap, but you doing a little bit in each different ones as you get comfortable, just build your audience. And, if I was a flower farmer that was just looking to sell my flowers locally, you better believe I'd figure out how to do that. I would engage in local groups. I would engage local people. And y'all, social media is free advertising that you can use your sweat equity. And we have put so many bonus trainings into flower farming school, because this has become really, I built Flower Farming School in 2017 and 2018. And then, of course, we've added to it some bonus sessions through the past years. And because everything evolves and changes, right? And we're just so want people to understand that social media can be an asset to your business. And we are learning every single day to embrace Pinterest, to embrace Google. Google is the king of the internet, right? And, make the most of it or complain about it. And so all of it is essential, that this is what entrepreneurs do. You engage what works, not what you think about something. Friends, social media does matter to your business. There is a place to start and build a system to make it doable. You can build an amazing community. You can definitely take great images. You can up your game. Even if you don't have any photography experience, organizing it for easy posting is the beginning of all of that. And, this is all just my take, right? And I just really want people to shift their mindset. Forget that scrolling business. Do something constructive for your business, y'all. And we can do it. So, friends, remember, thegardenersworkshop.com is where you can find all things Lisa. You can find where to connect with me. You can find my courses. You can find the courses that I produce for other amazing flower-based business industry leaders, from Farmer Florist School, how to grow in hoops, how to force indoor winter bulbs like amaryllis and paper whites, a no-till course. We have on-demand courses. We have schools. If you're a home gardener, I've got Seed Starting Made Easy, the Easy Cut Flower Garden. There's tons of free resources, as well as you can find how to connect with me live each week and ask me your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And friends, we're all here to help and rally each other. And last but not least, my online garden shop, where I sell the tools, seeds, my books, and the supplies that I use on my farm. We try to narrow it down for you. We don't offer every tool. We just offer the tools that I use. So friends, till we meet again, ciao.